Okay, so today we are going to see the first lab program uh, that is uh, that is uh, create a library database and have uh, these tables, that is book authors, publisher, book copies, book lending, and library program. So they have given the each table the primary key as well as the candidate keys. So we need to consider the schema diagram which was explained in the first video, and using that schema diagram we are going to create the tables in the order. So we need to identify the parent and the child table. So uh, in that regard we will create the tables as shown. So we identified our parent tables and the child table. So first one we will create with the publisher, which is independent one. So the uh, syntax for creating the table is create table, publisher, name of the table, and the attributes, that is name. And we are choosing the string. So name is of type string. So we can give it a varchar data type. With 20, it gives you the number of characters you are going to store. So uh, user uh, can choose how many characters they want to choose it. So I will take it as a primary key, the name of the publisher, and the address and phone number. So phone number we have chosen it as a int, but since integer has a range maximum of 11, so, so if we are going for big int. Otherwise, what will happen when you give a mobile number, it will go out of the range, so you will get a different value. So it is a good thing to choose it as big int, int of make int of some 12, 10 or 12. So make a range of integer more. Then second one, table is create table book. So in book, as per the diagram, uh, the schema diagram, book ID is a primary key. So book ID is a primary key, which is an integer, and title, that is the book title, which is of string, that is varchar, and publisher name, which is of string varchar. Now uh, here the name of the publisher and this publisher, even though the attribute name is changed, but it is referring to your first table, that is publisher. That's why we this is the independent one, and this is the depends on this publisher table. So it references which table, that is publisher name, and the next one is publisher year. So I have taken it as a date and I have given it as not null constraint. Then third one is book authors. So book author have a book ID which reference to the book. So this is the references book, which is a table name, and which attribute it is referring is book ID. So you can give a same attribute name in the book authors, that is as book ID, or you can change this as something BID. So that doesn't matter. So until unless you are making it a reference key. So this is very important. That is references book of book ID. You can change the ID, but for users uh, understanding, so we are making it as same attribute name so that you can understand, oh, it is of same value during inserting the values. Then second attribute name is author name, so which is varchar, and it should not be a null. Then fourth one is a library program. Okay, so the library is an independent one, so that's why it is created with the program ID as an integer, and it is a primary key as per our the schema diagram. Then program name is a varchar and address is a varchar. Then the next one is book lending table. So book lending, uh, So either you create with the book copies or book lending, you can interchange this because they are dependent on library program, and these two tables are independent to each other. But here in book, it is dependent on publisher name, so you have to create this as first. Okay, so that is how we are uh, thinking. The idea is taken from the schema diagram. So for better understanding, watch the video 1. And book lending has attributes book ID, integer references book. So always you have to refer to the parent table, that is book. So why can't, sir, I can go and refer to the book ID of this table? No, because this also dependent on which table? Book. So you always refer to which table? The parent one. So this is the first table which has book ID as primary key. So this is the reference key. So that's why I'm not dependent on this. So I'm referring to which one? Book. So program ID, integer references, library program table, and in that program ID. So name of the attribute are same and it is references. And card number, so student card number, it is of integer and it should not be null. Okay, so date out is a date of type date. So when the student has taken out that book from the library, so it should not be a null. And due date, that is of type date. Then uh, the last constraint is we have made it as a candidate key. So what it does, so primary key, book ID, program ID, and card number, we have made it as a candidate keys. So the values of all the three, that is book ID, program ID, and card number should be unique. Okay, so means if you take all three together, they should be unique one. There should not be any repetition of same values. So either book ID or program ID or card number, any one of should be changed. So that is what the constraint I am putting here, means I am making them as candidate. Means if you put this, the student can borrow one book, means that book from any program ID. That is what the constraint. So he can buy any number of books, but if he buy the operating system book of book ID, same book he cannot buy. That is what I am trying to tell here. Okay. Then the last table is create table book copies. That is book ID integer. It references book of book ID, then program ID, it references the reference to the program ID. Then there are number of copies, that is of type integer, and it should not be a null. So after creating all these things, we will get so after creating all those tables, we will get uh, tables in the database college as this. So the command is describe table name, that is publisher. So we will get all the details of the field and its type. So these are the details we will get. So video we will see next video we will see insertion of values into the table.